Hey guys, so you're going to do the practice problems for part A, B, and C. And I'm just going to do a couple of examples for you. The first one I'm going to do is going to be an example about complete dominance. So, complete dominance is what I've been referring to as like the dominant recessive traits, where probably the better term, the more accurate term is for those types of traits where one is dominant over the other, is complete dominance. Okay, so I'm going to use this example. I'm just going to change it around a little bit, and then I want you to do this one by yourself and then along with the rest of them. So widow's peak is dominant to no widow's peak. And I'm going to show you how to determine the genotype and phenotype ratios, but I'm going to change the cross to a different one. So first thing I like to do is they did not give any letters that I'm supposed to use. So I'm just going to make up my own, and I'm going to use W. So I'm going to say W, capital W is for widow's peak, and lowercase w is for no widow's peak. Okay, and I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to cross the female is homozygous. So let's say the problem tells us that the female is homozygous dominant. And I think that's actually the same in number one. Okay, so homozygous means the two letters are the same. Dominant means they're both capital. The male, I'm going to say, is heterozygous, and there's no dominant or recessive for that. So the male is capital W, lowercase w. So then I'll do my Punnett square for these two, male and female. Okay, so the genotype ratio is we're going to do has to do with the letters or the genotypes. So it's going to be 2 capital W to 2 capital lowercase or 2 heterozygous. So usually it's better to narrow those down where it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so that's the genotype ratio. Phenotype ratio has to do with whether or not they have the widow's peak. Okay, so all of these actually, because they have widow's peak is dominant and they all have at least one capital letter, they all are, they all have a widow's peak. So it would just be one widow's peak. Okay, to nothing, I guess. I don't know if you have to put 0 there or not. Yeah, I guess we can leave it like that. Okay, so that is how to do a complete dominance problem. So what I would like you to show at the very least is the Punnett square. And then whatever the problem asks. And most of these, I think they ask you for the genotype and phenotype ratio. If you want to lay out this, like I usually do that helps me. You can do that. Okay, so the next one I want to show. So then there's some problems on codominance. We did Punnett square in the notes. I think that's enough to help you to do these. And then I wanted to show you a blood type problem. All right, so I think I'm just going to do number 1 for you. And then you can skip that one and do the rest of these. So this one says there are 3 alleles that control the ABO blood type. There's IA, IB, and lowercase I. Those are the 3 alleles. That's why this is a multiple allele gene type. A person only carries 2 at a time, 1 from each parent. Show a cross between a man that is IA, lowercase I, and then the woman who is IB, lowercase I. Give the expected genotype and phenotypic ratios of this cross. Okay, so let me get this. All right, so the man his genotype is this. The female, her genotype is this. All right. Just know that this man has A type blood. This female has B type blood. And also, just a reminder, remember, if you are A type blood, you could show this. This is the phenotype. Okay. These are the phenotypes. And this man just happens to have this genotype. But remember, if you are A type blood, you could also have this genotype. Both of these are for A type blood. This would be homozygous. This would be heterozygous. There's no dominant or recessive in this, though. Okay, so we'll do a Punnett square. Fill it in. So I'm just grabbing, oops, I messed that up. These from the top and side. So pulling them in here, pulling this in here. Okay, then let's give the ratios. Genotype ratio would be 1. I'm going to make my 1 like that. To 1 to 1 IB, lowercase I, and 1 lowercase I. Phenotype ratio would be 1 AB blood to 1 A type blood to 1 B type blood. So this is AB, A, B type blood, and 1 O. Okay, so that's that. So some of these, they're going to ask you to try to determine the blood type of the parent, because if you know the child's, you might be able, and you know one parent, you might be able to get the other blood type. Or it says like the blood type is A, but you don't know the genotype. That's basically saying, is it IA lowercase I or IAIA? Okay, if that makes sense. All right, so try those out. We're going to go over them as well. When you are finished, take a picture and attach it to this assignment.